What is up, ladies and gents? You know what time of day it is. It's XCN time, and in today's video we're going to be discussing that massive news release that we saw yesterday here from Onyxcoin. Of course, we saw this Goliath mainnet news release. We're going to be talking all about that in this video, whether we think it's bullish or bearish. We're going to be talking about what's been happening on the XCN price as well, and I'll be giving you guys a price prediction for where I think it's going to be going. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Of course, I want to hear from you guys as well. For the ones that have already read this news release, what do you personally think about it? Do you feel like this is bullish, or do you feel like this is bearish? And do you have more of a long-term or a short-term view here on Onyxcoin? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from all of you. Of course, if you are a new viewer, welcome to the channel. If you do like this content, hit the like button and subscribe. If you are a returning viewer, as always, welcome back to the channel. It's great to see you all here. So we're diving straight here onto Twitter, and we're just going to be discussing this Goliath news release. Of course, this was 14 hours ago. It was literally about 10 o'clock my time when this came out. Of course, there was a lot of hype leading up to this Goliath release. We saw a spike in searches for XCN yesterday on March the 3rd. And of course, we did see quite a bit of build up on the price. We saw something very promising here on the charts. We saw that as of yesterday, the price is actually busted past our long-term resistance here on the charts. And the prices actually came above 2 cents for a little while. Unfortunately, after we saw that release, we basically saw a drop here on Onyxcoin back down to below this resistance. We're going to be talking more about the price in a bit. But of course, with this mainnet release, there was a bit of confusion about what was going to be talked about. Of course, understandably so, some people thought that we were going to be seeing the mainnet today on March the 3rd, a whole new blockchain here for Onyxcoin. Of course, there was some articles, for example, from CoinMarketCap that even suggested that we'd be seeing a new blockchain as of March the 3rd. But unfortunately, that was not the case. This was a mere roadmap for that mainnet that was going to be going live in theory by Q1 of 2026. Of course, that's exactly what it says in their announcement as well. If you click on this, it takes us to a blog on their website. This basically was the meat of the announcement. We had to go through this blog and read it for ourselves. And of course, as a summary, they gave us basically an outline of what they wanted to achieve. Something that, you know, a lot of other cryptos in this same category are also looking to achieve: extremely fast transactions that beat traditional payment providers such as Visa. We're looking at secure, and we're looking at extremely cheap and scalable blockchains as well. Of course, we saw a roadmap here from Onyxcoin, which I think shook a lot of people. Of course, we were expecting a little bit more shorter term thinking from the team, but of course, what we saw here was Q2 2025 for the white paper release, Q3 of 2025 until we saw the test network deployment. That means we'd have to wait till Q3 before we saw the Goliath mainnet in action and kind of get an idea of the addressable market here for XCN, whether it's going to be something that payment providers are interested in or not. And of course, Q1 of 2026 as the goal for the main network launch. On top of that as well, Q2 of 2026 for bank connectivity mesh network launch. So this is pretty long-term stuff. Of course, given the fact that some people were expecting the mainnet to go live today, I think there was a little bit of miscommunication there in the expectations that people were seeing. Of course, understandably so, we did see the prices drop, partly because of this, but also partly because of the markets in general. It was obviously not a great day to release the news, but it was announced beforehand that it would be coming out on March the 3rd. So the Onyx team couldn't really do anything in that sense. Of course, we've just seen the whole crypto market in the red at the moment, so just very, very unfortunate here for XCN. Of course, if there was more fear, of course, if there was more greed in the markets, if the sentiment was a lot better, I think this news would have been perceived better. But nonetheless, this news in itself, I think, is long-term bullish here for XCN. Of course, this is basically what we want to see really from a payment infrastructure token. They've got the right goals. Nothing is really outstanding here, in my opinion, but it's a solid goal to have for the future of this coin. Of course, this is basically similar to the goals that many other tokens have as well. And at the end of the day, if they do achieve their goals, According to Grok, the Goliath mainnet, if it does work out, has a huge addressable market. If you look at the growth of the market that Onyxcoin are trying to go for, that's a 90% year-in-year growth for this industry. By 2030, it could reach $1.43 trillion. So basically, even if Onyxcoin only get 1% of the total addressable market, that's $20 billion in addressable market transactions that Onyxcoin could potentially process. So there's a very big opportunity here for Onyxcoin if they do get it correct. Of course, needless to say, the market cap of Onyxcoin is only 500 million at the moment. So if we do see Onyxcoin processing a significant amount of transactions, I think there will be a big repricing in the future. And of course, it makes sense for Onyxcoin to think long term as well, because at the end of the day, their incentives are for long-term gains. For example, if you remember that there was the HTX and Justin Sun partnership, they obviously had a large allocation of XCN, but it was locked up for 2 years. So there's no benefit to HTX and Justin Sun, for example, if they were to release any hype from this announcement. Their incentive is for the long-term success of XCN, so there's no point in them hyping anything up with this announcement. They're just going to announce this roadmap for the longer term, and that's all they're interested in. So it makes sense from the Onyxcoin's team's perspective. It makes sense from the partners' perspective. The only thing it doesn't make sense from is people who love hype in the shorter term, and that's exactly what Onyxcoin didn't do. There was nothing about this announcement that really generated any hype, in my opinion. Of course, they could have emphasized a few more things that could have driven hype. For example, they're planning to burn tokens. They're planning to burn XCN with every transaction that happens on their blockchain. And if they announced something like that, for example, if they even announced potential partnerships that they were trying to work on throughout 2025, I think that would have been a lot more bullish. But again, there was no point for the team. And given the fact that the markets were just bearish yesterday anyway, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. So in summary, I'm generally satisfied with this announcement. Of course, I'm a longer term holder, so this is absolutely fine by me. They're generally going in the right direction, and at the end of the day, the Onyx team know exactly what they are doing. Of course, at the end of the day, don't forget that Onyxcoin did not release a single news piece when their coin did 20x during mid-January. Of course, as you can see, prices went and shot up in the mid of January, and there was not a single announcement that kind of delivered any hype from the Onyxcoin team. It was all community driven. So the majority of these massive moves that we're going to see here on XCN are going to be sentiment and community driven anyway. Of course, the main thing that the Onyxcoin team are going to be doing is building out Onyx for the longer term here. They're not going to be focused on shorter term price movements. Of course, like I say, these pumps can happen outside of anything fundamental happening here on Onyxcoin. Of course, when we see the time is correct once again, then we can see these pumps happen here on XCN. Of course, looking at the chart here on the shorter term, we've obviously come down as a result of that news that we saw. So the market was generally bearish from that news. Of course, it wasn't just the announcement that we saw push the prices down. Of course, yesterday, like I say, the whole market was red. If you hadn't had seen, basically every single coin that pumped because Trump said he was going to create that crypto strategic reserve had completely reversed. This is Solana, for example. Of course, there was the crypto strategic reserve announcement, and yesterday we saw that whole pump completely retrace. This is absolutely nuts. I was definitely not expecting that. Bitcoin as well showed something similar here. Have a look at this. Again, crypto strategic reserve prices pump up to 96,000. Then we saw a complete reversal of that pump. So the market yesterday was extremely bearish. Of course, when you're releasing news in that sort of environment, the reaction is generally going to be more negative than it is positive. So at the end of the day, there was nothing that the Onyxcoin team could have really done to pump the price from that announcement. But having a look at the XCN chart once again, things are not actually looking that bad in my opinion. Of course, we saw a bit of a drop yesterday from nearly that 2 cents level all the way down to a low of 1.4 cents. But first and foremost, we've kept to a strong support that we had here. As you can see, the blue line was the support that we've been watching here on the XCN price. 1.4 cents was the level, and the prices actually came exactly down to this level and used it as a support once more. And as you can see on the 1 hour chart here, we've come up once again to this long-term resistance that's been holding the price on Onyx coin now in a bearish trend. Of course, as you can see, we're seeing an interaction of it once again, and we're going to be seeing a place where the Onyx coin price is going to get wedged in if it doesn't make its mind up. Have a look at this. We've got this resistance going across like this. We've got a support as well, and what could happen is that the prices wedge into this triangle, and we have a situation where Onyx coin has to make its mind up. Now, if it breaks out to the upside, of course, this is what we're all praying for. If it does break out to the upside, this could be extremely bullish once again, because it could still mean that we see a price target resulting from this triangle that we see here, with the blue line as the support, the gray line as the resistance. Of course, the price target from this triangle would give us a massive price target there of this distance if we break out from this triangle. Let's say that occurs by the end of this week with that Trump news that we're having. That would mean we see a price target here of 5.3 cents. That's a 254% trade to the upside. So again, this resistance here is definitely one to be watching. If we break out with a lot of momentum to the upside, we could see this as the potential price target. Of course, if you're looking for a great place to trade this breakout, look no further than the MEXC exchange, because this is the exchange that I've been using since the very start, because they have some of the lowest trading fees. They don't require KYC to get started, and for a limited time only, they're giving every new user who signs up using the link down below a free $20 to get started. So if you want to get that free $20, click in the link in the description down below, fill out your details. It takes less than a minute to do so. Deposit some fiat or crypto into your account, and they'll give you that $20 to get started. On top of normal trading here for XCN, they even have futures where you can trade XCN with up to 20 times leverage. So again, link is in the description for all of this. As always, thank you so much for your support. Back into this video. So we could potentially be looking forward to this 5.3 cent price target. Of course, another support that I was looking at looks something a little bit like this, where instead of a triangle, we've seen this falling wedge here. Of course, we saw a fake out where the prices did break out past the resistance, but they've come back down. If we see it break out once again, we could expect this to be the price target. So let's say we break out at exactly the same time. We're looking at a price target there of roughly 4 cents. So the way I see this, if the prices can get up past this resistance once more, then I'll be looking at this as the first price target there at 4 cents, then 5.3 cents if we can keep going past that 4 cent level. So exciting times ahead, particularly with the interaction we're seeing here with the resistance. Of course, if we break down below this 1.4 cents level, obviously, I'm praying that we don't, but if it does happen, it could trigger off this sell signal as well, because at the end of the day, a triangle could be bullish or bearish. If we break down below this level, we could be seeing this as the price target. You can see on the right there, that's 0.4 cents, a very bearish price target. But I do believe that before we get down to this level, there's going to be some areas where we could be saved, and they lie along this fib level here. So 0.5, for example, very strong fib in my opinion. So if we fall below 1.4 cents, we could see a bottom at 1.1 cents. If we fall below 1.1 cents, then 0.75 cents is next, and so on and so forth. So just some areas that I'm looking for at the end of the day. Just be prepared for both scenarios to occur. At the moment, the momentum is slightly bearish, so it favors a bit of a downside here. But at the moment, we are very close. Let me just show you that briefly. On the 1-day chart, you can see that although the momentum is bearish, the two lines are closing in. And if we do get a successful crossover like this, for example, then that could be an awesome buy signal here for Onyx coin. Of course, that would send the chart upwards, in my opinion, on a new bullish trend. So we could see something like that if we see a MACD crossover. On top of all of that as well, like I said, we've got something to look forward to here in crypto, and that is the first ever White House Crypto Summit. So Trump obviously announced that crypto strategic reserve. That's going to be very bullish in general for crypto if it happens. But of course, on March the 7th, we're going to see the crypto summit. Let me just get that webpage up for you guys. Basically, we should see some clarity here for the crypto strategic reserve. We see the crypto task force that Trump assigned at the start of his presidency going to be talking everything crypto here, and hopefully we see some clarity about what's happening with that post. Of course, the more clarity we get, the more bullish it is for the markets. And on top of that as well, we could see some alpha, such as the intention for the SEC to dismiss their lawsuit with XRP. That could really send XCN in the upwards direction. We could see some news there about potential ETF listings, or don't think that's going to be as likely, but nonetheless, if there is some sort of mention to do with it, again, strong alpha, XRP could pump, XCN could also pump with that. So definitely look out for this crypto summit. We don't have an exact time at the moment, but it's happening on March the 7th. If I know more, I will be the first to tell you guys about it. So something to look forward to at the end of the week. It times very well with this triangle that we're seeing here on Onyxcoin. And it could definitely shift the market sentiment, which is currently almost extreme fear. If we go on CoinMarketCap, you guys could see almost extreme fear here, 24, which was almost as low as it was just a few days ago. And it could start to shift this in a more greed to extreme greed direction. And that's what we need to see for the markets to start going up once again. So at the end of the day, never a bad time to buy when there's fear in the markets, particularly when it's this low. And I do strongly believe that at some point in the near future, we're going to start seeing this flip towards greed and extreme greed once again. So a lot to look forward to in the shorter term still, in my opinion. Of course, this Onyx news release was more of a long-term vision there. There was no hype tactics, and understandably, some people were disappointed. But at the end of the day, the most important thing here for XCN price is the community, the sentiment. And at the moment, the sentiment, as you can see, is in fear. So nothing good is going to come while it's still in fear. When we start seeing greed and extreme greed come back into the markets, that's when we can see Onyx coin absolutely fly like it did back in January. So a lot to look forward to. Of course, this video has been a bit of a mouthful, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Again, do let me know in the comments what you thought of that news release. Are you bullish from that? Are you bearish from that? Are you a longer term holder here, or are you a shorter term holder looking to trade the price on XCN? Let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.